Hello and welcome to First Pick.
The best place for all things magic and nerdy.
That's certainly right. In this first episode of our podcast, we'll be talking about the Arm & Kett pre-release, which actually is on right now. So if you're seeing this on the Saturday, then by all means, you can go on Sunday to your pre-release at your local game store. It's very good fun. I would say actually this is probably the best pre-release I've ever been to, which isn't too difficult when I've only been to pre-releases for 3 blocks, but you know. And if you're watching this on Sunday, try and run down to your local game store and see if it's still on, I guess is your best choice.
Yes, that's if we can edit it before then.
Well, it'll be up before then, I assure you. It won't be up until like next week, but hey. So in your pre-release pack itself, it's pretty cool. You essentially get 6 boosters, and it's a sealed event. So if you want to show it off as I kind of talk about it. So a sealed event essentially comprises of you taking 6 booster packs of the set, opening them all up, having a look through, and then what you do is you sort out all of your cards and you build a 40 card deck. So it's much like drafting, but you've got double the packs, and actually all of the packs in your pool formulate that deck. So you can see here John's got a couple booster packs out. He's got the awesome D20s, which he's already shown, but I'll just show you the details on these because these are really, really cool. If you're watching on video, you can see it. It's like a kind of weird misty blue as it kind of it's very neat, very nice. And you've got these little cards, which essentially there's 5 trials that you need to complete.
We completed 2 of them because we brought a friend to a local game store, which was basically each of us, we each bought each other. And we did the Trial of Strength, where we played in a sealed event, which this is a sealed event.
Exactly, it is a sealed event. So don't forget, when you go to your pre-release event, to fill in both of those if you can. And if you fill out the Trial of Solidarity, you actually get this really cool little D4, which John's going to show off. It's actually got Bolus on the 4, which is pretty neat. It's got its little horns that need to be a little bit closer. I'll try and get as close as possible. There you go. You can kind of see it. It's not very easy to make out, but it looks awesome in person, I assure you. Very neat.
And it only occurred to me after about 3 hours of being there that it's D4 because it's a pyramid.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. And the booster packs themselves, I mean, we got to talk about the booster packs because they just look awesome. They're like this solid kind of gold colour, and they just look really cool. I don't know, there's just something about it that's really satisfying to open. And yeah, in your booster packs, you'll essentially find your standard 15 cards, along with, you know, your lands and your tokens. You've also got a chance to get a full art land. And there's also, as John's got here, there's some really cool punch-out token cards, which essentially have embalmed, exerted things, the brick counters and the -1/-1 counters, and actually these are super useful.
Yeah, the brick counters not so much because you can use like Lego bricks or something like that, like somebody did. But to know when something's been exerted is quite important because you can easily forget it and just untap everything when you usually untap. Embalmed not so much because you know it is a token anyway. I mean, if you're using the actual card, then yes, I can understand.
Yeah.
But if you've got the token, you don't necessarily need it.
No, that's the thing. I think it's literally in place just in case you don't have the token, because I noticed...
-1/-1, definitely useful, because most counters on there are just plus whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you can use dice. Dice also work for that, having 1 colour for the +1/+1 and 1 colour for the -1/-1. That's what a lot of people were doing. I mean, the embalmed one is really cool because a lot of the time you won't get the matching token for the card. I mean, in a sealed pool, you've got a bit more of a likelihood because you're opening 6 packs, and there's actually not loads of embalming cards, so I mean you've got a bit of a higher chance. But yeah, let's talk about kind of how we experienced Arm & Kett today, because it was an interesting block. It was very different from Kaladesh in a lot of different ways, and I think, I mean, I personally found it more interesting than Kaladesh. I enjoyed it a lot more than the Kaladesh and Aether Revolt pre-releases. I think I just had like a lot more fun, even when I was losing games. I don't know. I don't know if that was the same thing for you, John. So like, what was it like for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think yes, I agree with you that it is better than Kaladesh. Stylistically, I think it was quite a lot better. I mean, I like the Egyptian feel to it. I like the idea of the gods as well. That was one thing that was quite interesting in Theos. They're a little less powerful than the Women's Theos, but
yeah, and I mean, here's an example of the full art lands you can get, which are really, really beautiful. A couple people actually opened foil full arts as well, which is really neat. But I think just even in the way that the box is presented and everything like that, it just seemed a lot cooler. I don't know, like the box is a bit easier. I saw less people break them than the Aether Revolt ones, which was kind of nice. And
these were a lot easier to open. In the
yeah,
Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, they're just like, how do you open these? It says push to open, but then what do you do?
Yeah, and I mean,
it's horrible.
The gods themselves. I mean, you've got one right there, so
Yeah.
you can show it off. But the gods themselves, super playable in limited, really good fun, probably playable in standard. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know the Theros gods were pretty big in standard back in the day. So,
I mean, but you couldn't really necessarily do them very well in limited, could you?
no, I mean that's the
devotion was a
thing.
difficult thing to get to.
Yeah.
Very difficult thing to get to. This one, at least with Ronus, can't attack or block unless you got power 4 greater for another creature. I found that rather difficult to get to because, of course, my opponent was always trying to kill off any creatures that I got. I did manage to once do that and bump up everything, so I managed to do 10 damage in one, which was great.
Yeah.
But never again.
See, and for me it was the complete opposite. So, I think we both ran white-green.
Yeah,
right?
it was a very, very similar day.
Yeah, I mean,
I think because we both got bonus. So.
well, for me, my my promo card. I mean, I'll put it up on screen, but the promo card was what was it called? It's the free one that you can exert him, and he gets +1/+3 and lifelink. He's 1 colorless and 1 white. Super playable. And the thing that I found really interesting about him is because you're exerting him and giving him that +1/+3, he obviously becomes a 4/4 with lifelink, right? He doesn't have lifelink by default, so he's very susceptible to removal at the start. But of course, as you begin to exert him and things like that, he becomes a lot more difficult. Now there are a lot of -1/-1 counter interactions, so that was kind of the way people were dealing with him. So he wasn't too standouty, but when you were exerting him, he was really being very beneficial. So I kind of saw him, knew he was a bomb, because it's very early game, you know, good life gain, chucked him in, and the rest of my pool was just full of green and white life gain and untap and combat tricks, and so that's kind of why I went with it. And then Ronus was just kind of a massive bonus Ronus.
Well, this was my promo, that one there.
Oh, you've actually got it to hand.
Yes.
I don't think
it was in my deck because I built my deck around it as well. Because Ronus requires creatures of power greater for 4 or greater. That one would get me.
So it's Regal Caracal is the card.
Yeah. And of course that would buff any cat creatures I had, and of course then I went through and got other cards that buff creatures. So eventually
you played Cat Tribal.
No, I didn't. Although it did end up getting there. I mean, I've got loads of cats there as well.
Yeah.
There was a few zombies in there as well.
Okay.
But anything that would make my creatures a little bit bigger so I could get Ronus off.
Yeah.
And of course, getting big creatures is always good anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I really enjoyed how the gods interacted. They weren't ridiculous. I mean, they are susceptible to exiling and things like that, or obviously counters. And they're super fun. Like, they've all got different clauses. So I mean, the blue one, you need to have 7 cards in hand.
It's gonna be difficult.
I could see it happening in some blue decks.
Yeah,
I mean, you've just got to be very draw
some
optimized.
kind of draw cycling, things like that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he does have, for 4 mana, you can draw a card and return a land to your hand. So that's 2 cards up, which is nice. And really, that's only a free cost thing, because afterwards you can then play the land again if you haven't played one already. But I mean, Aketra, really, I mean, we've got to talk about Aketra because she's the standout god, or goddess, I should say. Aketra is a 3/6 with double strike and indestructible. She can't attack or block unless you've got 3 or more other creatures, and she is insane.
Which is easy to do.
Yep.
Right?
She is absolutely insane. I mean, she's got a thing in herself that you pay 4 mana and make a 1/1 white soldier token, I believe with vigilance. So, I mean, in herself, she's already crazy, but...
and of course that works very well with Embalm, because all Embalm creatures are white.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, they don't have to be white
No, they
creatures,
don't
that's
have
the
to be
best
white,
thing.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just have to be
Yeah.
creatures. It's crazy. So Aketra is the standout goddess. If you find an Aketra and you've got a pretty strong white pool to support it, then definitely go with her. She's amazing. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get to play anyone against her, but I have seen her played, and geez, she is difficult to deal with. I mean, Ronus is good. He's quite challenging for the opponent once you've come up with a system where you can consistently get someone to a 4 or a 5. If
Yeah.
you can get them to like a 5 or 6, they're really difficult. There's a hooded, I think it's like hooded cobra or something like that. And it's a 3/2, but you can exert it and it gets +2/+2, so it becomes a 5/4. You can exert that, and then if needed, you can pay the 3 to then give it an extra +2. So even if they put -1/-1 counters on it, you're still able to attack with your god as well that turn, and it will still be above a 4, so it won't stop them from being able to attack. So, I mean, that's really cool. And Ronus is good. He's, you know, Death Touch, indestructible, 5/5 for 3 mana. Yeah, he's just really good.
What I also found quite useful is the cartouches and trials combination. So you have the trial, you put that down, it buffs up a creature.
Yeah, you play the
You play a
cartouche, it returns it.
It buffs up a creature. You return your trial to your hand, and you can do the you can play that again.
Yeah.
Buff up your more creature if you've got enough mana. I didn't manage to do that. I just managed to buff up.
It's interesting because in my pool, I didn't get a single non-land, non-basic land, apart from a bicycle land, which was in black-red, so I couldn't even really run it. But I also didn't get a single trial. I did, however, get some cartouches. And so I can pretty much vouch that the cartouches, even by themselves, are incredibly playable in Limited.
Yeah.
Even just making, so the Cartouche Solidarity, even just making that 1/1 with Vigilance, and then getting that +1/+1, super useful, especially with something like Ronus. Also their monuments, really good. They make your creature cards cheaper.
I had black, blue, and white monument. I can't remember what the gods are.
Yeah. Bond to something beginning with K, and then did you say white? White is a Ketra.
Yeah, a Ketra.
Yeah.
I know white. But yeah, where's you? There you are. That's a Ketra's monument.
Oh jeez, Joe. You've got some gloss going on with those cards. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very, very good. I wish I could have got the Ronus one as well, because that would have been awesome in this deck, but no.
Yeah.
Which is a bit annoying because I was always end up playing green cards. By the time I got that out, I just never really used it much, which was a bit annoying. But
I want to talk about one card in particular that I did not pull, but I played against, and just how difficult it can be to deal with. So there is a card called Cruel Reality. It is an enchantment, and it costs 7 mana. It's one of the curses. So there's a couple aura curses that are lying around in the set, and they're really good, especially in Limited. So, I mean, this is just a great set for Limited, I think. It's really well designed for this. I mean, obviously, we'll need to play it more to get a bit more of an understanding of it, but from what I've played so far, it seems to be really good. Cruel Reality is 5, 2 black, and essentially, each turn of the enchanted players, on each of their upkeeps, they have to sacrifice a creature, okay? And then if they can't sacrifice a creature, they get dealt 5 damage.
insane.
I managed to extend my turns and not take damage for like 6 or 7 turns because I was top decking creatures, but it quickly wiped my board. It was it was brutal. It was one of the hardest cards to deal with, and I was trying to run like Cast Out and things like that. But this guy, he just had so many threats in his deck, and it's got to be said, black, creature-wise, doesn't have great support, especially in the commons and uncommons. It does have some really cool curses. It does, obviously, Bontu is very playable. He's a really, really good creature, especially if you've got the ability to return creatures from your graveyard. Green, really strong across the board. Green is a very playable, very, very playable colour.
I saw a lot of people playing
yeah.
today.
I mean, so many people are playing green. White's really good. Red has some fantastic stuff going on.
I got a the dragon, the Glory Bringer.
Oh, Glory Bringer, yeah. Glory Bringer's cool.
I wanted to put that one in, but the rest of my red deck wasn't that brilliant, so...
Yeah, it just didn't support it. So, I mean, it's one of those things, sometimes you get that card that's really, really cool, but you just can't run it. I mean, I had Glorious End, which by all means is not good for limited. It's probably good for constructed. I could see it being used, because it's essentially like a red counter spell. And it's an interesting card, but in limited it just sucks. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to run that. And then I saw I had a Bicycle Land. I did have some alright red cards, and I considered it, but I was like, I'm not running red black, purely because there was a lot more support in white and green. And I mean, if I had a bomb in red, like a really good bomb, even if it was the best, if it was like the best card in the set, I still probably wouldn't splash red, purely because the rest of the pool wasn't really that supporting of it. And I think that's an important thing to note when you're building your deck as well. But yeah, I mean, like I said, green, really strong. Red has some strong cards. It has some, some standout spells. Probably a bit more for constructed. I don't see it being overly strong in limited, but maybe someone will find something. White is really good, just really good in limited. Blue is interesting, very interesting with black, very interesting with white as well. So, I mean, both of those combos, super good. And there's a lot of blue-green cards. I mean, Nissa's blue-green now. That's weird. Yeah. Nissa's got a bit of blue on her. I don't know what that's all about. Gonna have to read the story for that one.
Yeah. I haven't actually read much. Yeah. Oh, well, I've read a bit. I need to catch up though.
Yeah, I'll admit I have not read it. So
actually a bit better than the Kaladesh lore. Which I thought was it was good, but it just didn't have much going for it. Unlike Battle for Zendikar and Shadows over Innistrad, which were just awesome.
Yeah.
But Amonkhet is back to form, I think. I like the fact that they'll go there looking for Bolas, and they can't find him, but instead they find it's not quite a paradise, but it just doesn't seem like it's a
place of ruin.
That's made by Bolas.
Yeah, it just seems too good to be true. I mean, like, people are going through these challenges, and the challenges themselves, they do involve death, right? Yeah. There is this whole idea of death and afterlife.
Yeah, but
it's very Egyptian.
But the death is not the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they don't really worry about that. So yes, it's quite interesting. There's a bit of a mystery going on, so I'm interested to see how it goes.
It reminds me of Shadows in a lot of ways. And that's a good thing, because I loved Shadows Blood. I know some people didn't like it, and I know some people really loved Kaladesh, but for me, I much prefer mechanics like Exalted or Embalmed, where they're very much, they're very straightforward mechanics. Yeah. They're very to the point. They don't create this kind of confusion or this weird manipulation of rules. It's very straightforward. It's like, you exalt a creature. If it taps, then it doesn't untap on its next untap step. That's a straightforward mechanic. We get that. We understand that. Embalmed, exile it from graveyard. It comes back as a token. That's easy. We know that. Like, it just makes sense. Whereas, like, some of the Kaladesh mechanics were a bit crazy. I liked Energy, though. Energy was fun.
Yeah.
But the problem is Energy is going to be confined to that block.
Yeah.
And if we go back to Kaladesh at some point, maybe we'll see it again. Yeah. But I just feel like it's kind of going to, much like the clues from Shadows over Innistrad, it's going to kind of die off. But the thing about clues is they are still an artifact, so they do interact with the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Kaladesh, energy in itself will only really interact with itself because it's a completely separate thing. And in a way that's kind of a bit sad because I like it when the mechanics interact, you know? I like the mechanics that we know can carry on into other sets, like Madness can carry on into other sets. Because there's always cards that let you discard. We've got Cycling and Madness in Standard right now. That's crazy, you know? That kind of thing, I think, just makes for a much better mechanic, and that's why I think Exalted and Embalm and that kind of thing, they'll be okay because there's a lot of enter the battlefield triggers, you know, like whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that sort of thing, or tap untapped creature or untap tapped creature, that sort of thing. That always applies in sets, so it's kind of got that future-proofing in place. But yeah, I mean, pre-release was great. I think that's pretty much what we wanted to cover for Amonkhet, right? We're going to have a video up hopefully soon as well of us just playing for our pre-release decks because we haven't actually played each other yet. So I think that might be interesting.
Yeah, because there's similar decks, it's going to be...
It's going to be a bit crazy.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting, but yeah, I mean, definitely go to pre-release. It's super worth it. I mean, at our game store, they split the prize packs evenly, so everyone who enters gets 2 prize packs at the end. So you get 8 booster packs for, you know...
20 quid, yeah.
Yeah, £20 here. So, but it does... Do note that does vary from store to store. So if you've got a few stores nearby, I would check the prices, and I would also check how they're splitting out the prizes. Because you might want to go... I mean, especially if you're confident you'll do well, you might want to go somewhere where they offer prize support, so it's, you know, like 5 packs for the winner or something. Whereas if you'd rather just go and have a bit more of a casual experience, then go to somewhere like our local game store where they're splitting it out evenly. But I mean, either way, you get to try the new set ahead of everyone else. You get this awesome little box. If you bring a friend, you get a D4 as well as your spin down, which they are really beautiful. You've got to see them in person. They're super cool. And it's, you know, it's worth it, I would say. And you get to play Magic with people, kind of have a chat with them, and you get to do that, you know, for a few hours, and it's nice. It's cool. I like it very much. Another thing, actually, just to end this on, I would say, is invocations. Today we saw an invocation, and it was Cryptic Command, for those of you that will be itching to know.
Really expensive.
Really, really nice card, actually. Invocations, they look all right in person.
They do. The design is still a bit ugly, I believe.
The design is a bit ugly, but actually...
Yeah. The foil works really nicely on the gold, on the metallic elements of it. It does look really, really nice.
Yeah.
It's just the design. I don't like the design. And the fact that you can't read the title.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame.
Oh, that's horrible. I mean, I understand what they were going for, but just don't.
Yeah.
Just make it readable before you go for design choices. It just makes so much more sense.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty much everything, right? Invocations look kind of all right in person. Of course, some people are still going to hate them. Some people will love them. That's how art works. Yeah. You know? I think Amonkhet's better than Kaladesh.
I do too.
Why don't you leave your opinions in the comments if you're watching our video, or if you're liking this podcast, then feel free to stay tuned or subscribe to Impossible Mythics, where you can also see it in video form. And yeah, I mean, we'll be trying to do these somewhat regularly.
Yeah,
hopefully.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, no promises yet, but I would like to do this, you know, every now and then. Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah, Amonkhet, we would rate it. What would you rate it, John? How many mummies out of a pyramid? how many mummies out of a pyramid? I'd give it at least Embalm out of a pyramid.
Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to go Exert out of a pyramid.
Oh, that's quite a lot of mummies. Right.
I don't know, I can't really form an opinion on the entire set because I've only really played with this deck, so I'll have to play with a bit more.
First initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a set compared to, well, I haven't actually played too many sets.
No.
compared to what I have played, which is basically Shadows to now, I'd say it's probably just behind Shadows and Eldritch Moon.
Okay, if I said this, right?
So maybe a 6 or 7.
Okay, let's incorporate our name into this, right?
Okay.
Let's say I offered you 3 booster packs.
Right.
Okay. Not Eldritch, Shadows, right? The first Shadows, Kaladesh, and Amonkhet. What is your first pick?
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you go for the Shadows pack? Do you go for Kaladesh, or do you go for Amonkhet? So we're in like a Chaos draft or something like that.
That's the thing. I'm kind of leaning towards the Amonkhet because it's new. I mean,
Shadows' power was like through the roof.
Shadows was good, but I preferred the Eldritch Moon set.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But
I prefer
the
Shadows.
block as a whole,
Yeah.
I think is better than Amonkhet. But I don't know. I'd probably pick the Amonkhet booster pack just because it's new.
Do you know what? Honestly, Amonkhet's really fun to play. The cards are just, even when I was losing, I was having fun, and I haven't really enjoyed a game that I've been losing since Shadows block, really. I enjoyed Modern Masters as well whilst losing. That was great.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what? I would probably first pick Amonkhet.
Yeah.
Shadows is close behind though.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Definitely
pretty much sums it up.
Kaladesh,
Yeah, I just. Anyway.
It'd be nice if it was full of inventions. That'd be great. But
yeah, but you could say that about anything. All right, well.
Yeah, no, but the inventions in Kaladesh were awesome.
Yeah, they were cool. They should have. Well, no, they should. I get why they're changing it, but yeah.
Yeah, they want to keep it stylistic.
Well, we're rambling now, so. All right, well, thank you very much for listening to our first episode of the podcast. We will try and ramble less in future episodes of First Pick. And if you enjoyed First Pick, then please let us know if you want to see more. I think this is kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty chilled out. It's nice to have a bit of a chat about what we love. And thank you for watching and listening. This has been First Pick.
Bye bye. I don't know what else to say.
All right, bye.